If you assume that your personal care products are regulated, this might surprise you. At the federal level, the US has only banned about a dozen ingredients, but in the European Union, it's over 1,200. So, how do you decide what's actually safe, especially when you think about the products that you use every single day? Today, I'm talking with Phyllis Benstein, who began investigating ingredient safety after experiencing severe sensitivities like migraines, allergic reactions, and even anaphylaxis and alopecia that forced her to start reading labels differently and more carefully. In this conversation, we explore synthetic fragrance, scalp inflammation, how stress impacts hair, and how to reverse engineer your own triggers. So you're not just reacting to symptoms, but you're understanding patterns. Let's dive in. Phyllis, welcome to the Green Living Now podcast.
Thank you. I am passionate about the connection between inner health and outer beauty. I do educate worldwide about toxin awareness with a concentration on self-care products because at a very early age, I developed these sensitivities and or allergies to ingredients, to environmental, to things that I put on and in my body. And for me, it would be either a muddled rash, a migraine, and then my worst one being an anaphylactic shock. And so
Oof.
I have gone on a journey in my adulthood to really reading the labels to understand what's in the products. We have about 30 banned ingredients in the United States now. They don't
Yeah.
add very many. Canada has close to 2,000. The EU has over 3,000. And so most people, they lather on, they eat, they breathe in all these toxins, and they have no idea until they get a chronic illness from the toxicity building up. So me, on the other hand, as soon as a toxin comes in contact with me, and I don't know if the audience knows, but the cleaner you get, the more sensitive you are to these reactions, then you'll be more aware of the toxins that you come in contact with. As an adult, I had all sorts of issues, and I started going clean, and I started looking at the results of what is causing some of these internal issues. Inflammation is one of the key things that causes illness and blood toxicity. And the other piece of it is I am all about the data. And I think that a lot of people don't know what they don't know. We've all heard that cliche before.
That is
But if
so
you
true.
just read the labels, but it goes down to more. What my education is about is like the dirty dozen for food, there's a dirty dozen for cosmetics, but people
Right.
don't know that these products are toxic.
Yeah.
People could really be a little more proactive. I know one of my hairstylists always says that you can pay now for better, cleaner products, or you can pay for your hospital bill when something more adverse happens. I have really minimized my migraine triggers incredibly. And
Yeah.
so I'm just really hyper aware of what I put in and on my body. But then I
Yeah.
did the research. There's a new app called Yuka, Think Dirty Shop Clean, or the EWG database of ingredients, or you can use your chat or you can Google it now, but you need to know what those ingredients are because some of them are
Right.
hormone disruptors, some of them are reproductive disruptors.
So there's a couple things I wanted to touch on that you said that I really resonated with. One being that I don't think a lot of people make the connection between the products that they're using or even the foods that they're eating and ill health, right? Because when we go to the doctor, those kind of questions are not being asked typically. They're usually diagnosing you with something or treating the symptoms. And so I think that's one thing that makes this harder is that even if people are looking at the labels and trying to avoid some of the top issues, which we'll talk about in just a moment, I don't know that people are always making the connection until they've gotten so sick and they've gone through the whole Western medicine hamster
Right.
wheel. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I got to do something else. I got to try something else. I got to do my own research or try something alternative. So that's one thing. And I will also say that no question that the cleaner you live, the more you notice the toxins. When I'm in a closed space with somebody wearing perfume or cologne or hairspray or anything with a fragrance or laundry detergent, I walk the dog past my neighbor's house and I can smell the stuff wafting out and I'm just overwhelmed. And I don't think that people that are used to that all the time have such a profound reaction, even though thankfully I don't notice a physical illness type of reaction, but I'm just so aware of it and so sensitive to it. So I just wanted to throw those two
Yeah,
pieces in.
that's awesome. So it's usually synthetic fragrance, which I'll talk about when I get into the hair products. But when you have extreme migraines or you have extreme allergies and sensitivities, they have you keep a log and
Right.
have to work backwards from what you were exposed to or what you ate. And that's how I backed into these ingredients and the
Ah,
cause and effect. I had to look at every single thing. What did I eat different? What
yeah.
did I put on my body different? And that's how I got into this kind of puzzle of really understanding the effects on my own body. But people need to be more aware of the signs. So many
Mm.
people get migraines and headaches, and one of the big ones is from synthetic fragrance.
That was going to be my next question. Which were the triggers that were the worst for you?
So, fragrance is a big one for
Yeah.
me. I have an extreme allergy to mold and
Oh,
ragweed on the environmental side.
okay.
And I'm allergic to blue cheese and MSG, which no one
Ooh.
should have MSG because it really plays with your central nervous system.
And in the blue cheese, do you think it's the mold or something else?
It's the mold.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, I can't ingest it. And you've heard that people get sick from black mold,
Oh,
but
yeah.
so I'm allergic to leaf molds. It's a weird one. I had the worst sinus issues because they found out from my allergist that I was allergic to leaf molds. When it rains and
Ooh.
you're in a humid environment, a thin layer of mold forms underneath the leaf, and that is a leaf mold, and that just sets me off. So when it rains for days and days, it's like I have a cold. I have it controlled now with healthier eating and
Oh, interesting. So you're less sensitive to mold if you eat really well.
yes, if I have toned down my sensitivities, if it were to flare up, I would go and get like local bee honey. Because
Oh, okay. So
local
that
bee
works for
honey,
you,
it works really well for me. Local bee honey because that has a lot of the irritants.
right? The pollens and everything. And
Yes.
does that have any impact on the mold aspect?
No, not really. I'm just really
Okay.
careful about what I put in. I will get
Yeah.
environmental triggers, environmental headaches, but they're not like before.
Yeah.
And I have a whole regime for headaches now. I've got peppermint oil and a
So do you
neti
put that on your
pot.
temples?
Yes, an neti pot.
Oh, yeah. It's
If you
basically a salt water thing that you snuff into your sinuses.
yes. So I'm into holistic solutions for all these things that people take
Yes.
medicine for. With the neti pot, I used to get sinus infections all the time, but just doing it even once a day with a non-iodine salt solution and running
Right.
it through your nose, it not only cleans out that area, but it draws down any bacteria.
Mm.
So that's been a game changer for me as well.
Okay, so fragrances were one of the top irritants. Mold. Was there anything else like in hair care products besides the fragrance that you found was
Yes.
causing you
So my hair's dyed. I'm on the older side, I'm more mature, but I'm sensitive to hair dye. In the personal care products, that's a trigger for me. Hair color and fragrance. This will date me. When I was younger, Jovan Musk was really big. When I put it on my wrists, it smelled like a stink bomb. I don't really wear fragrance anymore, but there's some
issues?
light botanicals that I could wear. It had some sort of adverse reaction in my body. So that was a sign that don't use fragrance.
And just so folks know, if they haven't heard me say this before, the fragrances are in everything. One of the things I tell people is to get rid of the laundry products that have the fragrances because that's something you're exposed to 24/7, right? Even if you don't wear clothes to bed, your sheets and pillowcases and everything, in addition to your clothes and towels, all have that fragrance embedded in it. So that's an easy one to start getting rid of, is anything to do with synthetic fragrance. And then obviously going into the cleaning products and body care products. So how did you go from all of this experience to, did you develop this hair care line or
Oh, my business
happen?
partner worked with a scientist formulator that helped us develop this line based on fermentation.
And what's it called?
It's called Fermaglow. There is nothing out there like this. So it basically takes bacterial cultures and ferments these ingredients, breaking them up into smaller molecules.
Huh.
And all botanical, except for the quadruple filtered medical grade water. And so it makes
Wow.
these ingredients more bioavailable. Our key thing is scalp health, and people know about their gut microbiome. There's been a lot of ties to gut microbiome and different issues that you can have, but this is the scalp
Yes.
microbiome. So this is the protective layer of the scalp. And when toxins are introduced to it, it becomes imbalanced and causes inflammation. So when it causes inflammation, then you have decreased oxygen. When you have decreased oxygen, it starts to shrink your hair follicles, which already
Ooh.
is part of the aging process. And so we have developed a nutrient-based line based on fermentation with these more bioavailable ingredients, peptides, some collagen, talking
Hmm.
about the synthetic fragrance. This is what really got me involved. This is the first line that I have ever researched that has no synthetic fragrance, no synthetic stabilizers or preservatives. And so our preservatives are from, one of them is turnip root. It has a 3-year shelf life. When you open up the bottles, it's a 1-year
Wow.
shelf life. But this is the power of these tiny fermented roots. There was the craze about the oils and everything else, but there's plants and botanicals that are just so incredibly powerful. We start with a scalp elixir, and it balances the pH of the scalp, reduces inflammation, and increases circulation.
Hmm.
That is a serum that you put on 20 minutes before you shampoo, or I use it nightly. I
Oh,
had a
okay.
huge alopecia incident earlier in the year, which I have pictures of. I regrew my hair back, incredible.
That's amazing.
I had a big quarter here, and then it turned into a big heart. It's all back. And
Whoa,
so
what caused that?
stress and illness. When our bodies are under extreme stress from an illness or stress, that puts your hair follicles to sleep.
Wow.
Just like alopecia, it's an autoimmune reaction to whatever, causing your hair follicles to be more in the sleeping phase. Because
Right.
basically, on a 3-month and a 3-year cycle, a third of your follicles are working, a third are sleeping, and a third are dying. And it's very important to keep that growth phase going, and that can be supported by a healthy scalp microbiome. The root of our whole product line is starting with cleaning up your scalp.
Okay, so two questions. I'm sure there'll be more.
Mm.
First of all, how would somebody know that they had inflammation in their scalp?
Mm.
What would signs be?
Dryness, itchiness, and the shedding. The shedding just really picks up.
You mean losing hair?
Yes. Some people have a burning sensation. That's an extreme one, but really their hair shedding and the fallout is a lot. It's just an unhappy scalp.
So then my next question is if a man is having some hair loss in a certain spot, is the male pattern baldness something that only comes from the mother's side of the genetics, or is it
That I
doesn't
don't
matter?
know. I know
Okay.
that is a genetic thing. Men have that factor thrown in as well, but
Okay.
testosterone and other things, especially their DHT level to go up. Bodybuilders, people that have more testosterone, DHT is a factor, and these fermented ingredients help
Okay.
lower DHT.
So where can people buy these? Are these only on a certain website? Do you have any in stores?
So it's direct to you. It's actually a network marketing company, and it's called New Generational Marketing. So it's B2B and B2C. And we also have a stylist certification program because so many hair care lines, they don't provide the education.
This is a new product, right? How long has it been available?
We launched on August
August.
2nd, but the great thing about this, not only is there no synthetic fragrance stabilizers or preservatives, it is clinically tested, ophthalmologist, dermatologist, and safety tested, peer
Oh,
reviewed, you name it. And so again, what does Phyllis love about that? The data. We've got the data to back these great products.
you were talking about the scalp elixir helps stimulate hair growth. When you had the experience with alopecia, did you do anything different to get that to get back into balance?
I put the scalp elixir on that spot. I probably put it on morning and night.
What are some of the worst ingredients that you know about in hair care products?
Yeah, sodium lauryl sulfate is the big one.
Yep.
Anything with a con on it, silicones, the cones on the end.
Yep.
because they coat the hair. People
Okay.
always love to go and spend a ton of money at the hair salon to get their hair done because it flows,
Yeah,
it's
so
clean,
shiny.
and they get great slip, but they get the slip because they're putting wax on your hair. So
Right.
those are the worst. Your DMEA, your DEA, your harsh salt systems, and of course, parabens.
Are you using natural waxes? Because one of the things I do notice about a lot of the natural hair care products is that the shampoos leave your hair feeling a little bit like straw. So you need to use a conditioner to smooth it out. What are your products doing as far as keeping things not feeling so dry and straw
I
like?
have some notes here. So we have a moisture lock complex in our
Okay.
products, and it's a vegan lipid complex
Huh.
that mimics the natural Vernex found on a newborn's skin. When a newborn
Oh,
comes out and they
wow.
have that
That
powdery,
white stuff.
we have been able to mimic that in our products, which
Huh.
help with restoring the barrier function and hydration. So that is
Okay.
absolutely huge. And then we have the 10 different oils. We've got a peptide system, copper peptide and hexapeptides. And
Ooh,
those,
copper peptides. So that's something. Are you familiar with the LifeWave patches?
yes,
Yeah, so there's something about the LifeWave patch that stimulates the copper peptide
yeah.
inside the body.
In terms of the scalp help, it helps with hair density. It's in all our shampoos and also helps to keep your hair in the growth cycle more.
Is there a certain age when hair starts to get thinner?
In the 20s and 30s, but
Oh
it's
gosh,
been,
that young.
but the average is in your 40s, but we have
Okay.
accelerated that because if people suffocate their scalp and their follicles with all these different bad toxins, 20-year-olds, oh my goodness, the products that they use and how unaware they are.
Yeah, that's
So it could
scary.
happen in your 20s or 30s, but the research shows your 40s, but we've
Mhm.
accelerated that with our lifestyles.
And you mentioned stress was a big cause of that alopecia moment for you. Can you talk about the mechanism that stress has on the hair?
Yes, it shocks your body. And again, it cuts down on the growing cycle in extreme stress. So the first time I had COVID and I was so sick, stress, anxiety, they raise your cortisol levels, and it lowers your hair production. And then stress does so many different things to our bodies.
It's such a big
Cycle.
issue these days, more than ever,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Anytime I open a tab to go to something, I
Yes.
have to see all these headlines pass. I'm like, oh my God, it's overwhelming. What would you say are some of the best ingredients to find in products?
The peptides. So our main ingredients are snow mushroom ferment. Our
Wow,
preservatives are
snow
from
mushroom.
turnips. The copper peptides are huge. There's not a lot of products you'd find with the HEPA peptides and the copper peptides.
I don't think I've seen that in hair care products at all.
Rice and rose ferments, guava leaf that helps support a healthy scalp environment. I know a lot of people, if they stopped using a lot of toxic products, they use coconut oil directly on their hair.
Yeah.
That's way better than going and getting a $5 bottle in the store. You want to look for nutrient-based ingredients. That's the key.
Yeah, I used to love Aubrey Organics, and I was so disappointed when they went out of business. I
Oh, I
thought that
didn't
was,
know that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a bunch of years ago.
Yeah.
They had really good ingredients, and my hair looked and felt good.
Another thing is, are they clinically tested?
What does that mean exactly?
We don't release anything to market unless it's clinically tested. So really know what they've gone through to make your products. I know you had asked me in the beginning about the sourcing. Where do they source them?
Oh,
It should
yeah.
be non-GMO. Your product is only as good as your base ingredients.
Correct.
Those ingredients coming from sustainable farms, are they non-GMO? How effective are they in saying what they do?
Yeah.
Definitely, they got to be no animal testing.
No animal testing.
And
In this day and age, there's really no reason to be testing on animals. There've been
right.
so many tests done on so many different ingredients that that's just cruel.
And is your product safe for the environment?
When it goes out of your shower.
Are you washing toxins down your drain? Boaters are by law supposed to not dump any toxic ingredients. So are they using personal care products in a hair care line that they can safely
Mm,
dump? Ours is safe for the fish and the coral reefs. They'll be going
okay.
for B Corp. And so it's really picking your products to go along with your mission, your vision for what you believe in the planet and everything else.
I'm curious about when EWG.org does their database stuff. Do you submit to an like that for them to rate your product, or
So
does that just happen?
that's actually a really good question, because I know that Think Dirty, Shop Clean, the Better Business Bureau, you pay to be on there. So we're not paying to be on anything. If they want to
Right.
evaluate,
And that doesn't mean anything to me if it's a pay to play.
right.
I want it to
So
be independent and authentic.
our ingredients are all researchable on
Yeah.
EWG, safe ingredients.
One of the things that I talk about all the time is the greenwashing of products and how claims on a label aren't necessarily true. And so to have some tests that actually back up the claims is very important. And the website again was what?
Yes, it's phyllismarlene.com. So PhyllisMarlene.com. And when you go to that website, you can scroll through different pages, and there's a product guide on there that will explain all the products and our main ingredients, as well as grab your free scalp health guide. Everyone should do these simple things to keep their hair healthy. It gives you tips on minimizing breakage and the ingredients to look for, mechanical damage. Yes, there's a lot on there.
Oh, that just reminded me of something else. If you're washing your hair in very chlorinated water or very toxic water, that's going to have an impact too. So you don't talk about like shower filters or anything in your education, do you?
I do. Everyone should have a shower filter. I do have a shower filter in every single bathroom. Yes, because those harsh chemicals can do a number on your hair.
Yeah, and they get absorbed through your skin too, and you're breathing them.
So the water does really matter, and that's why we use the quadruple medical grade water in our products. In terms of chlorine, for the swimmers out there, in chlorinated water, you should wet your hair thoroughly before you go in the pool, because your hair's already filled up with the water. It can't fill up with the chlorine.
That's a good tip.
If you can wear a cap, wear a cap. And then if you put the conditioner on, just a little bit, comb some conditioner through, that protects it also. And it's another barrier against chlorine.
Phyllis, is there anything I didn't ask you that you think I should have?
No, I think that's it. I just love raising the awareness about holistic, clean practices and products that people can use. Like you were saying, the times have really changed. For every toxic products out there, the ingredients, the processes, the technology like fermentation, they're getting better. So there's tens of different choices to choose from, and not your toxic one.
Yeah, thank goodness. And that's one of the things I've noticed over the past 33 years that I've been into this, is that we have a lot more available to us.
Yes.
And there's so much more awareness.
Yes.
Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
If this conversation got you thinking differently about fragrance, inflammation, or what's actually in your personal care products, that same kind of discernment applies in your kitchen. Most women I talk with have already made some changes in their kitchen. They've swapped a few things, they're trying to buy better, but without a clear way to decide what matters most, it's easy to feel unsure. In the 5-day Your Non-Toxic Kitchen Reimagined, coming up on March 16th, I walk you through a simple framework to evaluate what touches your food, the heat, the frequency, and cumulative exposure, so you can make confident decisions and stop second-guessing yourself. The link is in the show notes if you'd like to join us. And as always, stay curious. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you next week.